Madeline Hart had barely opened her eyes when the cold sting of reality sliced through the dim hospital room. Her body still trembled from the brutal delivery of 3 premature babies, their tiny cries echoing faintly down the hall. Tubes and monitors surrounded her, but nothing felt as suffocating as the tall, immaculately dressed man standing at the foot of her bed, her husband, Connor Reeves. He didn't smile. He didn't ask how she felt. He didn't even look at the infants who had fought to breathe just minutes earlier. Instead, Connor placed a thick folder onto her bedside table, the snap of the leather cover striking the air like a whip. "Sign it," he said, voice smooth, detached, as if discussing a business contract instead of their marriage. "Our agreement is over. I can't build my future with this kind of instability." TK bro. Madeline stared at him, vision blurred, unsure whether it was the medication or the heartbreak fracturing her chest. She searched his face for any trace of the man she once loved, the man who whispered promises under Manhattan skylines, who pressed her hands against his heart and swore she would never face the world alone. But the man before her now was a stranger. Behind the glass window stood Sutton Blake, her former friend, now Connor's polished companion. The small smirk on Sutton's lips confirmed everything Madeline feared. They had planned this. They were waiting for her weakest moment. A nurse paused at the door, eyes widening at the sight of the divorce papers. But Connor stepped aside, blocking any chance of help, any hope of dignity. Madeline felt her breath catch. Her world was collapsing in real time, her health fragile, her babies fighting for life, her marriage destroyed without warning. And as she raised a trembling hand toward the papers, something inside her cracked so deeply she wasn't sure she'd ever be whole again. But Connor had miscalculated terribly. Because someone else had seen everything, and they would not stay silent. The silence that followed Connor's footsteps was heavier than the sterile air of the postpartum ward. When the door finally clicked shut, it felt as if the world had collapsed into a narrow tunnel of pain and fluorescent light. Madeline's breath hitched as she lay helpless, her body still numb from the epidural, her mind struggling to grasp what had just happened. Just hours earlier, she had been fighting for her life. The complications from delivering triplets had nearly taken her from this world, leaving her drifting in the haze between consciousness and nothingness. She remembered the doctors shouting, the alarms blaring, and then darkness. And now, emerging from that darkness, she was greeted not by comfort or love, but by betrayal delivered with corporate precision. A nurse entered quietly, her expression a mixture of pity and outrage. "Mrs. Reeves, Madeline, are you all right? Should I call someone for you?" Madeline tried to speak, but her throat felt raw. All she could manage